Hello guys, got more D&D 5th edition homebrew content for you. Today we're going to be covering the very first homebrew race I got to show you guys, which is of course mole people, or a mole person. Mole people. I never thought I'd ever see such a thing, yet here I am. The blood of a hairy, small, sniveling little creature on the blade of my axe. The stench of their colony looming in the air. The sight alone is a wonder to behold, says Ivar the Brave. Mole people are wondrous creatures filled with a hearty love for their colony. They always stick together and always take the side of any outsider they meet. That, if that outsider is a mole person, that is. They have a strong distaste for surface dwellers, those who partake in surface level activities or live on the surface. Mole people live together in varying sized underground colonies in small tunnels and caves. The greater the colony, the bigger it is. The mole people themselves live off of a social hierarchy system where the queen sits up top, followed shortly by their swole mole, which is the colony's champion pit fight match winner. Next sits the colony's circle of mole mages, usually 3 to 6 low-level wizards, sorcerers, or clerics. And then after that, kind of sits the rest of the mole people, your civilians, your guards, your miners, your whatever. The moles live happily if left undisturbed by the surface. Mole people are non-religious and do not follow any gods. They are wondrous creatures. Mole people are curious little folk that love to mine for shiny objects, investigate peculiar mechanisms, or tinker with random unknown artifacts from unknown areas. Just don't tell them it's from the surface, or they might just burn it on the spot. You heard me mention Swomel earlier. Pit matches, one-on-one brawls with no weapons or magic, are a fan favorite of mole colonies and are traditionally used to resolve disputes amongst mole people. Each colony has a mole person who is best in the colony at these pit fighters. This champion is known as the Swomole of the colony. The champion Swomole is usually blessed by the colony's mages with both an increase in overall size and strength and an increase in life expectancy, though this blessing can be removed if a new champion Swomole arises. Being asked to challenge a colony's Swomole is a two-edged sword. Not only do they respect you and believe you to be a worthy opponent, but they also dislike you and want to justify killing you, so try not to lose. Mole people are small, and therefore they can fit into tight spaces. Their average height is 3 feet, with a max height of 3.5 feet. Their average life expectancy is 20 to 30 years, and mole families typically have about 2 to 8 mole babies per litter. Overall, they really like mole people. They really like underground things. If you're from the surface, they kind of just unjustly dislike you and unjustly attack you uh, for no good reason. I will say I wrote a lot of the stats for this, but the information came from what my brother ran a game one time because he came up with the whole Swole and Mole Colony and Mole People. So a lot of this information comes from him. Um, so give him the credit, not me. Um, but that's how he ran them. Was a strong distaste for the surface stuff. So that's kind of how they are designed to be. Dog moles are the horses of the mole colonies. They're usually kept in cages and are used for sport and or patrolling their territories. Kobold Press has dog mole stats, and they're pretty good. Again, credit goes to Kobold Press. But check that out. Great stats, great company, honestly. They do a lot of stuff for their own game, like which is Tales of the Valiant. But then they also do a lot of stuff that's fifth edition adjacent. So it's got like if it's got like written like D&D stuff, and then there's a sidebar at the bottom for if you wanted to use it in Tales of the Valiant. So a lot of their stuff is honestly just you're able to just throw it right into D&D, and it's good if you're playing with experienced D&D players because now you can throw new things at them. Mole names tend to be short and easy to say if you're a mole person, that is. Like Lvik, Lumbar, Oro, Glar, Guauna, Dankana, Castel, and Untik. Mole person traits. Moles live short lifespans, so they acquire skills rather easily. Your constitution score is increased by 2. You are 10 to 30 years of adult age, so 40 years in total. They mature by age 10. Um, Mole people tend to be neutral good. They can be neutral evil or completely neutral. They're usually more completely neutral and neutral evil rather than neutral good. It does kind of depend on the colony you have. Again, they're very self-centered and colony orientated. So if you've got a really large colony, you might find them to be a little more neutral good because they're well established, they're well esteemed and such. But if you have a smaller colony where they got to be a little more defensive, then they'll probably be more on the neutral evil or completely neutral end of the spectrum. Average height of 3 feet. You are size small, and your speed is 25 feet. Mole people do have a climbing speed of 30 feet and an underground speed of 35 feet, so they can burrow. And they are unaffected by rough terrain, although they cannot swim. One downside to being a mole person. Mole people are blind and they envision shapes and colors via the tiny smells coming from the dyes in clothing or the particles in the dirt, etc., etc. Since they cannot see, they use their hearing and smell and just other senses to navigate. Due to this, they are immune to the blind condition but suffer from the effects of blindness when deafened. So, again, that's kind of. Mole people have proficiency in the survival skill because, again, they're kind of focused on surviving and sticking with themselves. Mole people can read, speak, and write with their help of their incredible noses. Common and undercommon. And mole people are resistant to cold and poison damage but are vulnerable to radiant damage. One thing to note again, they're blind only when they're on the surface. It's kind of like they have the opposite of regular vision, where like regular people can't see in the dark, but can see in the light. Mole people are blinded by light, but can see well in the darkness. So, uh, heavily tinted sunglasses work well for mole people because it kind of darkens the world and that helps them see better. Um, so the whole vision thing is a bit of a challenge to get around when playing a swole mole, but then you get proficiency in the survival skill, a +2 to your con. You're a size small, which is a little rare, and you get resistance to 2 different damages types. Vulnerability to radiant damage is a bit of a downside as well. But you do get common and undercommon. Which undercommon is not that common, despite the name. You also get the climbing speed and the burrow speed, which is cool. So that's in case you were wondering, this is a picture of a Dogmole. Again from Kobold Press. So not my image. This is ChatGPT. This is not my image, and this is also not my image. I did this guy. I found this guy. This is really how I find most of my images. Is just doing this, but this is where that image came from. So credit goes to Martin Kirby Jackson. Not me, cause not my art. So, um, yeah. That's the mole person. Let me know what you think down below, and have a wonderful day.